How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Have you ever thought about how to securely dispose of a credit card? If you ever gotten a new credit card, I'm sure you wonder what the heck you're supposed to do with the old one. First thing most people would do is just cut it in half and toss it in the trash can. Now if you do this, someone that dumpster dives in your trash can actually recover all these numbers and go buy something with it. Now something else that you can do is cut your credit card into multiple parts and dispose of it in a trash can in separate bags. Now you might even want to be more secure about it by putting it in separate bags in separate weeks so that all the credit cards are not found in the same trash can. Now I've done this for many years and I generally think that this is way too much work. Now in order for a thief to steal your credit card, all they need is your name, the 16-digit number, and expiration date. Sometimes, depending on the merchant, they might also want that extra CVV number either on the front or on the back of the credit card. Now your signature is also a sensitive part because if they can see it, they can try to forge this. So over here, if you want to protect the credit card numbers themselves that appears on the front of the credit card, you might want to cut it up into 4 groups of 4 numbers and dispose of these into 4 different trash cans like this. Now you may also want to cut across your credit card numbers, but this is not all that effective because if you can see the top of the number, you can kind of guess the whole number. Some people might also suggest cutting across your name so that you can't really recognize the name anymore. You might also want to cut across your expiration date so you can't recognize that. Also the CVV number over here, and also your signature. Now you can imagine if you have to do all of this for every single card that you discard, it's going to be a lot of work. On top of this, there's actually 3 long tracks along this magnetic stripe. So if you want to destroy that magnetic information, you might also have to cut across here 3 times all along those lines because the first magnetic stripe already contains your full credit card number, expiration date, and also your name. So because of the density along this magnetic stripe, you might have the full credit card number along a small portion of this strip. Therefore, you might actually have to cut this into fifths instead if you want to protect your credit card numbers. Now cutting up all this is way too much work and I have not found time to be able to do it with all these credit cards I have. I have 18 different credit cards and they keep on expiring, of course, over time. And then look, I get this collection of all these dead credit cards. So my purpose here is not even try to do this, okay? Let's throw that away. I thought about putting all these credit cards inside a shredder, which they will cut it all into all these little tiny pieces. However, that's also not very secure because by the time you shred everything, all those pieces are contained in one single container. Someone that really wants to steal your information can potentially go in there, pick out all the correct pieces, and they can still piece everything back together and figure out what your credit card number is. So that method is not completely secure as well. You can play tricks where you kind of take a little bit of the shredded credit card here and throw it away there and a little bit, but then all of this is not super duper secure. I'm trying to figure out a way where once you do it, you cannot really recover all the credit card numbers at all. Now this brings me to the point of what my idea is. Credit card is made out of plastic and they melt somewhere between 140 degrees Fahrenheit and 220 degrees Fahrenheit. So my idea is this, you just collect all your credit cards like this, don't even bother cutting them up. I'm thinking I bake all this at 200 degrees Fahrenheit and I wrap all of this enclosed in an aluminum foil a couple times because I don't really want any fumes coming out of this into the oven. If you bake it on high, of course there's going to be fumes coming out, and hopefully if I seal it with an aluminum foil, nothing will actually come out. Now when things melt, all of that will be contained in and hopefully it will be so melted that nothing is recognizable. So let me just stuff all this into aluminum foil, bake it on 200 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple hours, and then let's see the results. These are all my expired credit cards, so let me just wrap it. Twice. I'm gonna put it on the second tray and hopefully the heat will go into this package pretty slowly and melt all the plastic. So I'm gonna set it for 200 degrees Fahrenheit and then come back in 2 hours. So you can argue that baking all these credit cards for a couple of hours in order to melt them into one big ball could be considered more effort than actually cutting up into little pieces and disposing them in different trash cans. Now this is a trial process and I'm trying to figure it out myself, but I believe what I can do in the future is possibly cut all these credit card pieces into tiny little pieces, maybe put it in the shredder, and then package it up in an aluminum foil and toss it in a fire, just so that I can have higher heat and yet I will not mess up my oven and have all these chemicals flying around in there. That's the main purpose of me having it so low because I really don't want all this fume in the house. So definitely do this outside, and I think I have a little bit more experimentation to do before I can find an easy way to do this. this. I hope you enjoyed this video and think a little bit more about the security of your credit cards when you dispose of them. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below, let me know how you dispose of your credit cards and if you think it's secure enough. If you're interested in supporting my channel, you can check out my Audible link down in the video description below, where you can get a free audiobook, and if you don't like the book or the service, you can cancel it and you won't have to pay a thing. You can still keep the audiobook and you can still help benefit this channel. I also have a 30-day free trial for GameFly down below, where if you try this service, you can rent out a video game that maybe you haven't tried before, and if you don't like the game or the service, you can cancel it before the 30 days is up and you can still help benefit this channel. I also have a Patreon over here, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.